Why aren't you negotiating? There's nothing for us to negotiate. The House has done its job. The House Republicans right now are working hard in their districts all around the country. They're meeting their constituents' needs. They're going and explaining and providing the answers, and they're trying to help them navigate through this madness. There's nothing for us to negotiate or to debate right now, because the House already did that. The House did its job. We passed our bill. We did the job to keep the government open, and now it's on the Senate Democrats.
In the midst of a government shutdown on Friday morning, the latest government employment data was a mystery even to U.S. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer.
Usually we get the reports the day before, and I haven't seen that for this month.
The delay of the release of the September jobs report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics means Wall Street investors, Main Street businesses, and consumers have one less piece of the economic puzzle to make important financial decisions.
It's not like all the data goes away, but it's certainly one source that a lot of people pay attention to could be quite delayed.
One private data source, the ADP payroll report released Wednesday, estimated the private sector lost 32,000 jobs during September. With healthcare and education adding jobs, most other sectors slumping, and small businesses with fewer than 50 employees shedding more jobs than larger companies.
There's been this wait and see from employers in terms of whether they're going to hire. We've seen a number of employers, for other reasons, decide that they are going to contract their workforces, and so we're seeing those announcements as well.
If a shutdown drags on and continues to stall the release of future economic reports, the Federal Reserve could be without key data when they meet for their next move on interest rates at the end of the month. In Washington, I'm Karen KVII.
The economy's doing well, prices are down, we have virtually no inflation, everything's going good. We're respected by every nation in the world, and you know what happened? The Democrats want to shut it down, and they want to shut it down because they want to give billions, ultimately trillions of dollars to illegal migrants, people that came into our country illegally. Some of those people are criminals, but they came into our country illegally, and they want to give them the essential, over years, trillions of dollars. And our people aren't going to stand for it. They also want to have open borders. They want to have men and women's sports. They want to have transgender for everybody. These people are crazy, the Democrats. So if it has to shut down, it'll have to shut down. But they're the ones that are shutting down.
This is baby Zave. He's now 1.5 and thriving. But his mom, Ashley Vasquez, says that wasn't always the case.
He just didn't have an appetite and he wasn't putting on weight.
Zave was put on special nutritional drinks that his family received through WIC, federal-funded program for women, infants, and children. It provides aid to more than 6 million low-income families to help cover expenses for food, breastfeeding support, and health education. But that money could soon be at risk if the government shutdown continues.
For really young children whose sole source of nutrition may be infant formula, the loss of WIC would be absolutely devastating because their families don't have other options.
Nell Menifee-Leiby with the National WIC Association says if the government doesn't pass a spending bill within the next 2 weeks, funding will likely run out.
That really puts us in a crisis point very quickly.
Funding for other assistance programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP could also be at risk. Roughly 42 million people depend on SNAP to help cover groceries. October's benefits were already sent out, but come November 1st, it's unclear whether people will receive assistance as politicians continue to debate.
Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit.
This is not about health care. This is about Democrats wanting to show their progressive left base that they are fighting against Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, it leaves vulnerable parents like Ashley Vasquez unsure how they're going to pay for their families. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
At the San Ysidro point of entry, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers see about 60,000 cars total every day. Jorge Llanos is an officer with U.S. Customs and Border Protection and says they're the first line of defense.
Working on the POEs, the ports of entry, making sure that all the people that are coming across, whether they're U.S. citizens, residents, or foreigners, have an ability to come in the proper documents or the status to come in.
But now, officers are going to have to do all that without a paycheck. The next time they're supposed to get paid is next weekend. Yano says there shouldn't be impacts to the public, but says things may change if the shutdown goes on for too long, with officers possibly opting out of coming to work.
When things like this happen, it is a slap in the face. It shouldn't happen. We shouldn't be the first ones to feel the brunt.
This isn't the first time U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers have had to deal with the government shutdown. Back in 2018, during President Trump's first term, the government shut down for 35 days, and the officers had to go without a paycheck then, too. He says right now, younger officers may face more uncertainty when it comes to paying for things like rent and food.
It is difficult to live in the area. Housing is expensive. Groceries weren't that bad in 2018, but they've gone through the roof in the last year.
Yano says officers are bracing themselves for what happens on the federal level.
The only thing that we can rely on is basically each other. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with different groups to help out and unfortunately just dip into our savings accounts.
In San Ysidro, Jane Kim, ABC 10 News.
The White House says thousands of federal workers could be laid off if a deal is not reached. And today, Trump said Democrats would be the ones responsible. Listen.
I call them Democrat layoffs. They're Democrat layoffs. They're causing it. We're doing better than the country's ever done. And the Democrats hate seeing that. It's up to them. Anybody laid off, that's because of the Democrats.
All right, what do you think about what he has to say?
It is offensive and it's a lie. This is the President of the United States. He should know the damn laws. He does not have the authority to lay people off because we're in a shutdown. The laws are very clear on that. You don't have authority to spend money, but you can't change laws. These are congressionally appropriated positions doing congressionally mandated work. The idea that the president thinks that it's a good idea to hurt the American people, to take away people. I mean, if the National Flood Insurance Program is out of money, if we have a Hurricane Helene that comes through, who's going to solve that? The EPA has no disaster people on it, and he's going to fire these people? That's not presidential. It is shameful. It is thin-skinned. It is anti-American, and it's frankly evil.
Democrats, unfortunately, are continuing to play political games, and we are now in day 6 of the Democrat federal government shutdown. Millions of American federal workers are under enormous financial stress as a result, wondering how they will pay their bills and take care of their families. If the Democrats do not vote to open the government tonight, federal workers will not receive their next full paycheck. Additionally, the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children will run out of federal money very soon. This program provides vouchers to buy infant formula, fresh fruits and vegetables, and other healthy foods for low-income families. It can be easily fully funded if Democrats simply vote tonight to reopen the government. Also, our incredible military service members who risk their lives to preserve and defend our country are now working without pay and will miss their next paychecks if this Democrat shutdown does not end tonight. The Republican-backed clean and nonpartisan funding bill fully funds this important food aid program, gets our troops paid, and reopens the government. So all of this begs the question, what is the Democrat ongoing shutdown truly about? The sad truth, we believe, is that the Democrats intentionally shut down the government and are inflicting this pain on American citizens to try and demand free health care for illegal aliens. Of course, this is an indefensible and truly radical policy to be in favor of, let alone to use as the primary reason to shut down the United States government. So the Democrats and their allies are desperately lying about their true motivations. We have to set the record straight with the facts so the American people understand what's really at play here. House Republicans passed a clean and nonpartisan funding bill to keep the government open and ensure our troops and other hardworking Americans are paid. Every single House Democrat except one voted against this clean and nonpartisan funding bill. Senate Republicans have subsequently tried to pass this same clean funding bill 4 separate times, and they will do so again tonight, to fully pass it to be sent to the president's desk for signature. And the president is ready to sign this bill to reopen the government as soon as it is sent to his desk. Yet every single Senate Democrat except 3 have voted against this clean and nonpartisan funding bill. The Democrats' current position is that the only way the American government can reopen is if illegal aliens can get free health care. Don't take my word for it, just look at what's inside of the Democrats' proposal to reopen the government. Their funding proposal would result in nearly $200 billion spent on health care for illegal aliens and other non-citizens over the next decade. To put this in perspective, $200 billion is enough money to fund the entire children's health insurance program, which provides health insurance to low-income children and women. Under the Democrats' proposal, the millions of illegal aliens who improperly were granted asylum and paroled under the Biden administration would once again be allowed to receive Medicaid benefits. It does not end there. The Democrat proposal would also require Medicaid to pay more for emergency care provided to illegal aliens than it does for American patients who are disabled, elderly, or children. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The Democrat Party has unfortunately closed our government, costing Americans their jobs, threatening our military readiness, harming our economy, and causing chaos, all to help the illegals who broke into our country. Instead of holding illegal aliens accountable and removing them from our country, which is what this administration is trying to do every day, the Democrats want to give them the free benefits paid for by the American taxpayer. Democrats in 2025 are for illegal aliens first and Americans last. This is the reality we are unfortunately facing right now in Washington, D.C. President Trump and Republicans will not give in to these radical demands. The president and Republicans have a sacred responsibility to serve and protect the interests of their constituents, the American people. That's why we are backing a clean and nonpartisan funding bill with no strings attached to reopen the government. Democrats should do what they did 13 separate times under Joe Biden and vote for this exact same type of funding bill. Now the Senate will vote tonight for the 5th time to reopen the government on the 6th day of this shutdown. All we need are an additional 5 Democrat senators to end this madness and vote for the clean funding bill to reopen the government. If you are an American watching at home right now, call your Democrat senators and tell them to do the right thing and end this shutdown.
Back to Capitol Hill to try passing a bill to end the government shutdown. And thanks for joining us. You are watching the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It is Monday, October 6th, and today Senate Republicans will bring a funding bill forward once again to see if any more Democrats get on board to end the shutdown. Angela Brown in for Mark Boyle at the live desk with the latest on this. What are you hearing, Angela? Any progress over the weekend?
We are not hearing that any Democrats are going to be breaking ranks anytime soon, but these things, of course, as you know, can change in a heartbeat. At this hour, the government shutdown is entering a second week. The Senate is expected to reconvene this afternoon to vote on a bill to fund the government. The bill has already passed in the House but failed in the Senate a number of times last week. Both sides are now accusing the other of acting in bad faith.
The reason the government is closed is because Chuck Schumer and 43 of his Democrat colleagues in the Senate have decided now to vote multiple times to keep the government closed.
Well, unfortunately, Republicans are lying because they're losing in the court of public opinion as it relates to what's going on right now. We are standing up for the health care of hardworking American taxpayers.
Well, the holdup with Democrats in Congress is health care and making sure health care insurance subsidies continue. We'll see if there are any changes this week when it comes to that issue. Meantime, the Trump administration says it will move forward with mass firings and also layoffs as President Trump decides negotiations with Democrats are at a standstill.
I think that if the president decides that the negotiations are absolutely going nowhere, then there will start to be layoffs.
Well, members of the White House cabinet are hopeful to avoid any firings by Democrats voting to reopen the government. That's what they're hoping for. We're tracking all of these storylines today right here at the live desk.